Bobby Green versus Jalen Turner, late stoppage, incident TKO, ends late. Some people are saying as many as 8 seconds late. I did not see it as that drastic. And when I rewatched it, all I'm looking for was the referee. I'm looking to see what happened, and then I'm looking to defend the referee, and then I'm looking to persecute the referee. Like, this is my own personal mindset as I go back and as I'm watching it. And it's one of these situations where it will never go away, and you pile on the referee, and we then never hear from the referee. And I will tell you, I'm glad that I did not hear anybody calling for the referee to not be able to officiate in the future. I didn't hear one person say that. I appreciate that. Everything that I did read on this, when they referenced the referee, they referenced him as referee. They didn't use his name. I appreciate that. Now, I'm coming to you from a perspective where I have refereed, and I've never done MMA. But I did a football game, flag football game with kids, and I could not believe how angry parents were. I mean, I must tell you, it surprised me, disappointed me. And I done a lot of wrestling matches, and I'll just share for you, there are things that are happening really fast, and as the referee, you have the best of intentions. And there are things where even you will look back and realize you have made a mistake. And when those things happen and people will then use your admittance, your objective admittance that I have made an error, when they will use that to persecute you, I find that very underhanded. I find when you bring somebody and they are objective and able to look at it and say, okay, this was wrong. It's going to be a teachable moment for all of us, including me. In fact, let me tell you, this is what I was seeing. Because I'm so close. This is what I'm seeing. As I stand back and I watch this on video, this is what I missed. That's helpful. And that's honest. And that is, integrity is the very first thing that executive directors will look for. All executive directors in the state, not just the great ones, not just Foster and Sumbler, like not just the great executive directors, all executive directors, when they hire, whether you're checking the gloves, which is called an inspector, where you're dealing with a judge who is telling you, I can judge, let me in, and you're saying, well, what have you done before? What are the judge things that you've done before? And before you even get those matches, or you find out how many matches, or you find out where he was on the card, has he done main events? Before you get to any of that, you're checking to make sure this person has integrity. Because you have set forth rules. But those rules don't tell you how you are supposed to interpret. They are set forth rules, and then it's up to you to interpret. I like that. That's the way that it should be. And I'm just sharing for you, when you have these good people that come forward, that go through a lot of checks and balances, and then you have somebody that can look at their own work. And I do know a couple of referees, and I do know a couple of judges who have never been wrong in their own mind. Never. I mean, do you know what the chances would be as a human being? Do you know what the chances would be that you are like Jesus and you are infallible? Like, could you even imagine if you went through a body of work and you have never been wrong? It's one of those positions, and I don't know what the referee's take is on this. He hasn't weighed in, and he might never. Most commonly, you don't ever hear from referees and judges. And that's okay. I understand why you want it. But the executive directors are government-appointed officials, and we should hear from them. Including if it's about their staff, we should hear from them. And therein lies the frustration when people come out and they talk about the judges and or the referees. It's not when a mistake is made. It's when nothing is done about the mistake being made. Oh, by the way, when I say nothing, I'm talking about somebody needs to be fired. I'm not even saying they need to be pulled from cards or sent back to the amateurs. I'm not talking about that. It can be a discussion. What did you see here? Explain to me what it is that you were looking for. Because in this position, the bylaw is very clear. Intelligent defense. What were you seeing that you felt was a sign of intelligent defense? And then you begin to listen from there. And you start to figure out and strengthen your resolve that this person has integrity and is fair, honest, and objective, or you start to weaken that resolve and realize, hey, I might have grabbed the wrong person. I'm just sharing for you. That's where the real frustration comes. When people start going back on these matches and arguing about referees and or judges, that's where the real frustration comes. The terms in and of itself are a bit annoying to me. Early stoppage, late stoppage implies that there is a perfect stoppage. And that inference is incorrect. So you got early stoppage and late stoppage, but if you are on the side that you want to discipline a referee, and now you are talking about pulling him off of cards, pulling assignments, if you're of that school of thought, I would just like to remind you the checks and balances that our sport has. The checks and balances are very good, and they're put in there for very good reason. And when you see a TKO is the referee overriding and stepping in front of 3 licensed cornermen whose job it was to stop the fight, who have a towel and have an ability, and based on jurisdiction have different signals. I like the old school. I like when the towel actually comes in. Now what most people are doing is you wave that to the executive director, and the executive director then yells to the referee. And you can see where you would have problems with this. I'm speaking to you to the point in place. If you want to come down on that referee, if you're of that school of thought, this was late. Look, it appeared to be late. I don't disagree with that. If you want to come down on that referee, then you have to look at who the referee was stepping in front of, which is 3 licensed cornermen. Every TKO that you've ever seen is a referee overriding licensed cornermen who failed. And people don't like that. They resist and they push back, but I'm sharing for you, this is the way that it is. Only a referee can stop a fight by example. But every time that we have a fight stopped, this is for a cut. You bring in a doctor for a cut, where the doctor is stopping the fight. And you will hear that, and you will hear our pundits and reporters, and you will believe it to be true, and you will hear it. You'll have announce teams telling you that's what happened. There's not a jurisdiction that I'm aware that has that authority. Only a referee can stop a fight. So you have the doctor's opinion. And then the referee has to stop the fight. And I'm only speaking to that as there's checks and balances. You know what a 10-8 round is? For a round to be 10-8, at some point within that round, it needed to be eligible for stoppage. And the judges are letting you know that they don't agree with the referee. They don't agree that it wasn't stopped. So the checks and balances, they will come over the top of that and give a 10-8 round. And it won't be explained to you the way that I just explained it, by the way. You could have people in positions of authority that would disagree with the way that I just explained it. But I will stand by that. And if you thought Jalen Turner teed off on Bobby Green for 8 seconds more than he should have been able to, that's just one number that I heard out there. If you think that, I don't tell you that you're wrong. If I was the official, knowing what I know, I would have stopped it much earlier. I'm not resisting that. But when you're attempting to find a martyr, or you're attempting to throw somebody, or you're attempting to bring these things in, make sure you understand what the referee did. The referee did the job that 3 cornermen failed to do.